Hi guys, this is Amar and we are starting chapter number 15 of Happiness in Your Skin. So we are only left with about 15, 16, 17, 18, 4 chapters in the book, and we have almost finished reading the entire book, which is great. I think by the time we finish this book, it'll have it'll have a lot of value in terms of the kind of tips or videos we made here. I think hopefully years down the line, people will find them useful when this channel grows. Cool. So we are talking. So today is an important chapter we're starting. It's called The Journey is Everything. This is chapter number 15th in the book, and I'm looking forward to figuring out how to read the other books because they're all on Kindle, and I'll have to probably buy my own books to be able to read them. Right? So cool. That's fine. So we're talking about the journey. It's called chapter number 15. The journey is everything, right? So it says happiness is a journey, not a destination. Yeah, I think this is something that has been very well emphasized in Robin Sharma's book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I think it's beautiful, and it talks about how important the journey is as far as our life is concerned. It's not really about the destination, it's about the journey, right? So happiness is a journey and not a destination. Too many of us postpone happiness to tomorrow, to another day. Too many of us postpone happiness to tomorrow, to another day. Do you have any clue how many days you have on the planet? Even if you live for 100 years, that's 36,500 days. Wow. 100 years is 36,500 days. Have you ever thought of that number? So even if it doesn't sound like a big number now that we think about it, 36,500 days in case you live 100 years. Most people won't live 100 years, right? So that doesn't sound like a lot of days we have to live our lives. Even if you live for 100 years, that's 36,500 days. Does it sound long enough to wait to be happy another day? Would you be alive tomorrow to enjoy the happiness that you'll have? You don't know. I don't know either. None of us have any way to know that. So stop postponing your happiness to tomorrow. If you live each day as if it, so this is something that Steve Jobs said in the Stanford commencement speech somewhere in 2005, and that says as one of the most prophetic quote anybody ever said in human history. He said, if you live each day as if it were your last, someday you will be right. Every morning I looked in the mirror and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? Steve Jobs, one of the finest creators that human history has had. He created Apple, a brand that's synonymous with innovation in the field of consumer technology. Like all of us know Apple. Who doesn't know Apple? Like I haven't bought an Apple so far, but I mean, I tried using a Mac, but I wasn't very comfortable. So, but that doesn't mean that Apple isn't a great brand. He created Apple, a brand that's synonymous with innovation in the field of consumer technology. He emphasized the importance of living life on a daily basis, the realization today could be our last day on the planet. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't realize that. We live life searching for happiness on a distant tomorrow. A distant tomorrow. That sounds like somber and painful. The earlier that you start looking for happiness, the earlier you'll make it happen. We're all mortals. We'll die one day. We don't know when that day will come. It could be today, tomorrow, 10 years later. The earlier you start, the better. I started my search for meaningful happiness in my mid-30s. Trust me, I know it gets difficult. I mean, frankly, the earlier that you start, the better. Because the earlier that you start, the less responsibilities you have, the less people dependent on you or asking things of you. Easier it is to find happiness because you're on your own and you can define the rules of your life, and you can just go about it, right? The earlier that you start on the journey of your happiness, the easier it is. Start when there are no responsibilities. Start when there's nobody responsible or looking at you, your life, and one asking you, why did you do that, right? Start then, because earlier that you start, the better. I started my search for meaningful happiness in my mid-30s. Trust me, I know it gets difficult. You have responsibilities and your body clock is ticking by. Money is important if you're meant to fulfill your financial responsibilities, and that makes it difficult to experiment with things that may bring you lasting joy. So please start as early as possible. If you're a student reading this, start now. I wish somebody had told me when I was a student to focus on subjects I was naturally good at and make a career out of them. Nobody told me. Nobody did. But I'm telling you, you have an opportunity. Take it. You have an opportunity. Take it. We need to learn to design our lives in a way that we are happy on a daily basis. What are things we need to do to be happy on a daily basis? We need money to fulfill our needs and ensure basic comforts. We need money to fulfill our needs and ensure basic comforts. We need work that we enjoy. We need company of people we love and admire. Admire is a beautiful word. Just think about that word quite long in your life. These are our basic needs on a daily basis in order to live a happy life. Without money, we struggle to fulfill our basic desires. That's why Maslow's hierarchy of needs also specifies physiological needs as the first step to need satisfaction. So, in case you are not familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of the greatest models of human behavior. You should check it out. It divides human needs into 5 categories. Starting with physiological needs, which are air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. So all of these needs, we need money for all of these. We need a shelter, we need sleep, we need clothing. So we need bed for that. We need a house, we need food. So all of these are fuel, right? They're things that we need to keep going. We need money for all of these. Safety needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, prosperity. These are safety needs. The next level of needs are love and belonging. We want to love, we want to be loved. Friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Esteem needs, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength and freedom. And then the last level of needs are self-actualization needs, which are desire to become the most that one can be. The problem in life is that life is finite. And we cannot, one of the problems that I have with the Maslow's hierarchy is that life is finite. And we cannot go from one level of need to other level of need after one is complete. I mean, there's just not enough days for that. There's only, even if there are 100 days, we just realize there are 36,500 days. So we need to design our lives in a way that we are able to hit actualization as early as possible. We need to figure out our lives in a way that we focus on what's important. And what's important really is actualization, to be the most that we can be in our lives, to realize our potential, to do the things that we think are the most important to us and our lives, and the things using which we can have the maximum impact on the world. And that is actualization. That is really actualization. Most people never really reach actualization in their entire lives. By the time they figure who they are, life is over. Life is over. Life is short. And we don't have enough time to do all the things that we really want to do. So we need to start doing things that are really important to us, while we ensure that we are surviving and we have the money to do whatever we want to do. So it's a tough balance to make in life, but that's what it is. I mean, all of us need to figure how to arrive at this balance. People who are born in rich families, they are fortunate because they can fail a lot, and they have the financial cushion that will allow them to keep failing a lot. I know people who are in business families, who have lost 10 to 15 lakhs of rupees, which is thousands of dollars in US currency, but they're fine because they could afford that failure, because they came from a family which had the propensity to afford that failure, right? I mean, it wouldn't kill their life in case they lost that money. So that's important, because the financial cushion helps you to shoot at your dreams, right? So we need to figure out our own way to actualization, but that is the way we need to figure out how to reach actualization, because the journey is important. We need to really do the important things. If we don't do them, then there's a lot of problem in the way we live our lives. There's something knocking at our soul every day, and if we don't do something about it, we won't be happy. Life doesn't. So that's the problem. Maslow's hierarchy. Life doesn't move in the order of this hierarchy. Life doesn't move in the order of hierarchy, and it's too short to be able to fulfill one set of needs at a time. It's too short to be able to fulfill one set of needs at a time. If we want to live a happy and fulfilling life, we need employment, self or otherwise, food, clothing, friendships, a sense of personal freedom, and being able to pursue the best in us on a regular basis. It's important we make the time for things we value on a regular basis. there's a collision course. There's a collision course between survival and living needs. There's a collision course between survival and living needs. Survival is survival. When survival is the basic needs that we need, physiological needs, basic physiological needs. In case we run after survival only, we will never be able to hit actualization. There's a collision course there. But if we quit survival and if we go after actualization, we'll struggle to figure how to fulfill the physiological needs. So that's why we need to keep a balance between physiological needs and actualization needs. Everything else in the middle is also something that we would be able to take care of alongside. So we need it's life is a tough balance to create, but it's important that we hit actualization because it's too short otherwise. Most people never even think of or reach actualization. If you are to live life as if it's your last day, you need to find a balance between your actualization and survival needs. You need to be able to do things that you believe belong to your highest self and ensure that you earn enough money so that the last day prophecy doesn't become true because of lack of money. So basically what this is saying is that you shouldn't die because you have no money, and you shouldn't die of hunger. So figure out your life in a way that you're able to survive and you're able to are able to hit at your dreams on a regular basis. That's a tough balance. It's an extremely tough balance, but that's how it is. That's what life is. This is where we are. We don't know how many days we've been allotted, and therefore we can't wait till forever to reach a point where we have enough money to pursue actualization. It needs to happen simultaneously. We must therefore ensure that there's money to keep going. And I mentioned earlier in the book that money is like fuel in the car. Money is the fuel to keep going. If we don't have money, the car of our lives will come to a halt. At the same time, we can't let life pass by, waiting for happiness on a distant tomorrow, which may never come. Please take the time to figure out what and who makes you happy today. Please take the time to figure out what and who makes you happy today. Then see what makes you your money. If you can reach a point where what makes you happy makes you your money as well. If you reach a point where what makes you happy makes you your money as well, you will have actualized professionally. And if you actualize professionally, to be honest, you'll actualize in your life, because largely our professional life is at the center of our entire life. I've realized that it's been a tough realization, but I've realized that our professional life is at the center of our entire life. Our personal life, our social life, everything revolves around what you do. The most important question for a man or a woman even is what they do. Our entire life revolves around professional life. If your professional life is good, if you're happy with your professional life, you do work you enjoy, everything around you will fall in line. If your work sucks and if your professional life sucks, everything will suck. So if there is one part of your life which is the most important, it's your professional life. What you do and how you feel about that, how much money you make, everything about your professional life is the most important part of your life. This doesn't happen for the majority of the population, so they give up believing that they can't make it till you reach a point where what makes you happy also makes you money. What makes you happy also makes you money. You need to find a balance between the two scenarios. Here's a model I propose. So I propose a model here where there are three parts to it, and the first part is figure out work that makes you happy versus work that pays the bills. Yeah, that's the first step. Figure out work that makes you happy versus work that pays the bills. Okay. And the second step of this process is create a balance between working for money and working for happiness. Create a balance between working for money and working for happiness. And third is keep moving towards work that makes you happy till it pays your bills too. That is the process, because the goal is eventually point number 3, which is keep moving towards work that makes you happy till it pays your bills too. This is the journey of professional happiness. On the personal front too, you want to find a partner who feels like an extension of your life. Until that happens, you spend time with different people to see if they fit your idea of a relationship. They experiment with you and you experiment with them. When you reach a point where it feels that you are in love and you can take your relationship to the next level, do that. The deathbed mentality, as made famous in the book The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, recommends you live life knowing that death is close. So you focus on the supremely important. Personally, professionally, socially. It's important that we break down our lives into bare essentials and spend our time on things which are truly important. If you are on your deathbed, you won't have time for frivolities. You would want to spend time with people you love and care for, and you want to do things which may leave a legacy. Do them now. Do them now. Make the time to do those things every day, as long as you can earn enough money to ensure that you can keep going if days were to last. How should one plan life then? It makes this whole situation a bit complicated. How should one plan life in case we have to strike a balance between things that are important to us and things that pay the bills? The deathbed mentality may create an issue with planning. If we were to die, why plan anything while look into the future? Well, planning doesn't work on a deathbed mentality. We need to plan as if we're going to live forever. The planning has to assume that we're going to live forever. So planning, you plan as if you're going to live forever. However, we need to live as if we're going to die tonight. We need to live as if we're going to die tonight. That seems like a bit of a contradiction. How does one solve that? Our mortality shouldn't affect what we aim to achieve with our lives. If we live lives full of purpose, then it will go beyond our lives. That's why companies, books, and things that they create in the world stay beyond the lifetime of writers and founders alike. Planning should also focus on the most important thing to be done today, should there be no tomorrow. Planning should also be done the most important thing to be done today, should there be no tomorrow. So therefore we need to plan our lives in a way that it is filled with activities which make us happy and further the cause of our lives. So basically planning is similar over here as living life on a daily basis. There is no contradiction here. There is absolutely no contradiction here. Because if you plan, so we'll continue this chapter tomorrow. And if you plan your life in a way, where you plan, you fill it with things that you enjoy. You also, in case you are not at the point where you know what you enjoy, then try to find what you enjoy while doing work that pays the bills. So this is the biggest contradiction of life, and this is what we need to solve. We need to reach a point where we do the things that we enjoy. We try and actualize our lives, and during the process we have to go through the steps where we pay the bills. So that's where we are. It's an extremely difficult balance to strike. That's how it is. That's what life is. In case we don't strike this balance, we won't ever find true happiness. If you want to find true happiness, you need to figure out how to create this balance in your life. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on your family and how much they believe in you. It depends on your beliefs, how much you believe in yourself. It depends on how much risk you can take, and it depends on how much you can fail. It depends on all of those things. So it's not easy, but there is no other alternative, right? So that is the end of this video, and I'll continue this chapter tomorrow. It's a very important chapter, and I hope you think about these things and figure out how to reach a point where you can actually actualize your life. Thank you.